Have you ever wondered why, despite eating well, staying active, and doing everything right, your legs still feel weaker? Why stairs seem steeper than they used to, or why standing up from a chair takes just a little longer? Is it simply the natural aging process, or could something else be quietly working against you? What if the issue isn't what you're not doing, but rather what you're unknowingly doing every day? This may surprise you. Most seniors make one subtle mistake daily, believing it's a healthy choice because they've been told all their lives that fruits are natural, nutritious, and essential for good health. And yes, many fruits are. But here's the part no one talks about. Not all fruits are ideal for aging bodies. In fact, some fruits, often considered staples in a healthy diet, can actually make your legs feel weaker, worsen joint pain, trigger inflammation, and affect your balance and mobility over time. These fruits may be sweet and look harmless, but their high acid and sugar content, along with certain compounds, can spike blood sugar, irritate joints, and subtly weaken muscle function in your legs. And the most troubling part? The damage is slow, quiet, and barely noticeable, until one day you feel a sharp calf cramp, nagging thigh pain, or unexpected tightness in your knees after a short walk. Today, I'm going to reveal 7 fruits that may be silently harming your leg strength and joint health, especially if you're over 60. These are the fruits you should think twice about if you want to protect your legs from long-term discomfort and weakness. They're commonly eaten, often praised, and yet surprisingly problematic for aging muscles and joints. Once you learn the truth, you may never look at your fruit bowl the same way again. So if maintaining strong, pain-free, and stable legs matters to you, I encourage you to stay with me to the end of this video. What you learn could be the simple shift your body has been waiting for. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications if you care about your long-term health. This channel is where we uncover the facts few others are talking about. And if you're watching right now, I'd love to know you're with me. If this message resonates, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your voice matters more than you know. Let's start with the first fruit on our list, one that's often praised for its anti-inflammatory properties. But surprisingly, it may be doing the opposite, especially for older adults. Let's talk about pineapple. It's tropical, juicy, refreshing, and thanks to a compound called bromelain, it's long been considered a natural remedy for inflammation. But here's the twist. For many people over the age of 60, pineapple might actually be contributing to muscle weakness, joint discomfort, and leg pain. Here's why. While pineapple does offer benefits, it's also high in natural sugars and acids. That's a concern as we age, because our blood vessels become more delicate and less responsive to sharp rises in blood sugar. When you eat pineapple, that sweet burst delivers a fast spike in glucose, which can place stress on the tiny blood vessels that supply your legs and feet. Over time, that means reduced oxygen and circulation, which leads to symptoms like muscle fatigue, leg swelling, and that heavy, aching feeling after just a short walk. You might also notice joint stiffness or even burning pain in the knees or hips, especially if you already deal with arthritis or chronic inflammation. That's because pineapple's acidity can intensify existing inflammation, essentially adding fuel to the fire. Some people even describe their legs as feeling heavier or more sluggish after eating pineapple. And if you're on certain medications, especially blood thinners, you need to be extra cautious. Bromelain, the enzyme in pineapple, can interact with medications and alter their effects, either making them too strong or not effective enough. What makes pineapple particularly tricky is that it doesn't cause immediate symptoms. There's no instant reaction. It creeps in slowly. One day, you simply notice you're not moving quite like you used to. The fruit you thought was helping may have been quietly working against your leg strength all along. So what should you do? You don't have to give up pineapple entirely. But if you're experiencing persistent leg pain, swelling, or stiffness, it's worth reconsidering how often you include it in your diet. Now, if a fruit known for its anti-inflammatory benefits can have such a hidden impact on leg health, what about the next one? Let's talk about bananas, often seen as a muscle-supporting superfood, full of potassium and quick energy. But for seniors, bananas may not be the simple health hero they appear to be. They're soft, sweet, and easy to digest, maybe too easy. Bananas are high in natural sugars and fast-digesting carbohydrates, which can spike your blood sugar quickly. For aging bodies that already have a slower metabolism and a higher risk of insulin resistance, these spikes can gradually lead to weakened blood flow, increased inflammation, and reduced muscle function, especially in the legs. You might feel heaviness in your thighs, stiffness in your calves after meals, or general soreness when walking or climbing stairs. And if you're someone who retains fluid, especially if you have heart issues, bananas may worsen swelling in your feet and ankles. The high potassium content, while helpful in some cases, can contribute to water retention and lead to discomfort in the joints. Here's the most deceptive part. It doesn't happen overnight. Bananas don't cause immediate pain or obvious symptoms. You eat them thinking they'll help with cramping and energy, but over time, they may quietly reduce leg strength, especially if you already struggle with circulation or inflammation. If you regularly experience swelling, joint tightness, or a sense of heaviness in your legs, it's worth taking a closer look at how often you're eating bananas. They may be working against your mobility, not supporting it. Now, if something as seemingly harmless as a banana can have that kind of effect, what about something even smaller, something that looks completely innocent? Let's turn our attention to grapes. The third fruit, grapes. Small fruit, big inflammatory impact. Grapes seem innocent. They're small, juicy, easy to snack on, and often praised for being heart-healthy and full of antioxidants. But despite their positive reputation, grapes may not be as harmless as they appear, especially for older adults. What many people don't realize is that grapes are high in fructose, a type of natural sugar that's metabolized directly by the liver. That might not sound concerning, but here's the issue. When your liver can't fully process excess fructose, it converts it into fat and uric acid. And that's where the real problems begin. Uric acid buildup in the body tends to settle in the joints, especially the toes, ankles, and knees. This can trigger inflammation, swelling, and a deep, nagging pain that makes walking uncomfortable. That sharp pain in your big toe at night, that tight burning sensation in your calves, it might be connected to elevated uric acid from foods like grapes. But that's just the beginning. Fructose also fuels chronic inflammation in the body, which slows your movement, increases stiffness, and reduces joint flexibility over time. And here's what makes grapes especially sneaky. They're easy to overeat. Because they're light, sweet, and bite-sized, it's not hard to go through 2 or 3 cups without realizing it. That means the sugar and the inflammatory response add up fast. So while grapes may look like a nutritious snack, they may actually be working against your mobility. If you're experiencing unexplained joint stiffness, swelling, or a creeping fatigue in your legs, grapes could be playing a hidden role. And grapes aren't the only culprit. The fourth fruit, watermelon. The misleading hydrator. Next up is watermelon, a fruit that practically screams healthy. It's light, refreshing, and packed with water. It's a summer favorite and often seen as the perfect fruit to stay hydrated. But don't be fooled by its watery texture. Watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes of any fruit. That means it raises your blood sugar quickly, almost like a sugary drink or piece of candy. And while this may not matter much for a younger, metabolically healthy person, it's a different story for those over 60. As we age, our bodies don't handle blood sugar spikes the same way. Insulin response weakens, and with that comes more inflammation, especially in areas with poor circulation, like the legs, ankles, and knees. Here's what that can look like. You eat a few slices of watermelon. Soon after, you notice a dull ache in your calves, a strange tightness in your ankles, or stiff knees when climbing stairs. You may even feel leg fatigue shortly after meals. The blood sugar spike caused by watermelon, combined with a slower metabolism and fragile circulation, adds up to discomfort that often goes unnoticed until it becomes routine. And because watermelon feels light and guilt-free, people often eat large portions. One slice turns into 2 or 3, and before you know it, you've taken in more sugar than you realize, all under the assumption that it's healthy hydration. But instead of hydrating your body, watermelon may be quietly draining your leg strength, increasing swelling, and amplifying inflammation in your joints. So the question becomes, is watermelon really helping you stay healthy and hydrated, or is it silently undermining your ability to move comfortably? If your legs have been feeling heavier, stiffer, or more tired than usual, it might be time to take a second look at how often this fruit appears on your plate. And if watermelon can be this deceptive, what about other fruits we think of as essential to a healthy diet? Let's move on to a fruit that's everywhere in breakfast dishes, juices, and immune-boosting drinks, but could be causing more harm than good for aging joints. Let's talk about oranges. The fifth fruit, oranges. The acidic attack on aging joints. Oranges, bright, fragrant, and widely celebrated for their vitamin C content, are found everywhere. They're a staple in breakfast juices, multivitamin supplements, and health-focused diets. Known for supporting the immune system, oranges seem like a smart, wholesome choice. But for those over 60, they may come with an unexpected downside. Beneath their refreshing flavor and healthy image lies something less friendly to aging joints. Acid. Specifically citric acid, which gives oranges their tangy bite. While citric acid may seem harmless, for seniors, especially those dealing with arthritis, stiffness, or chronic joint inflammation, it can silently aggravate sensitive tissues. Here's how it works. When you consume oranges or orange juice, the acid doesn't just stay in your stomach. It enters your bloodstream and circulates through your body. In someone with already inflamed or weakened joints, that acid can further irritate delicate tissues. The result? Increased joint pain, stiffness, and swelling, especially in the knees, hips, and ankles. You might wake up with sore knees, feel a dull ache in your hips after sitting too long, or notice that climbing stairs feels more painful than usual. Most people chalk this up to aging. But what they don't realize is that their morning glass of orange juice, a habit they've trusted for years, may be contributing to the very discomfort they're trying to avoid. There's more. Oranges also contain natural sugars, and when combined with citric acid, they can create blood sugar fluctuations that lead to inflammation throughout the body. This systemic inflammation can weigh heavily on the legs, making each step feel slower, stiffer, and more painful, especially over time. To be clear, oranges aren't inherently bad. In fact, for younger individuals with healthy joints and fast metabolism, they may offer great benefits. But in the aging body, with slower circulation, reduced joint resilience, and greater sensitivity to inflammation, their effects can quietly accumulate. The most difficult part, you think you're doing something good for your health. You've been told for decades that oranges are healthy, and while they are in the right context, they might not be the best option if you're already experiencing joint discomfort or leg fatigue. So what now? We move on to the next fruit, one that looks like the safer choice. It's green, it's crisp, it's lower in sugar. People often see it as the smart, clean option. But underneath that innocent exterior, it hides a compound that could be triggering nighttime cramps, tight knees, and aching hips, especially in older adults. Let's talk about apples. The sixth fruit, green apples, the hidden source of leg pain. Let's talk about green apples, often seen as one of the cleanest, healthiest fruits around. They're crisp, tart, and less sugary than red apples, which is why so many people, especially seniors, choose them as a better option. But beneath that fresh, organic image lies a combination of compounds that may be subtly working against your joints and mobility. Green apples may seem harmless, but they could be contributing to fatigue, stiffness, and even chronic leg pain in aging adults. There are two main reasons why: malic acid and natural sugar. Let's start with malic acid. This is the compound that gives green apples their signature sour flavor. While it may benefit younger, more resilient digestive systems, it can be irritating to older adults. As we age, the gut lining becomes more delicate, and compounds like malic acid can start to irritate tissues, including those in and around the joints. For some seniors, eating green apples may result in hip pain, thigh aches, or a subtle burning sensation in the feet or knees. These symptoms don't show up immediately. Instead, the effect builds gradually, the acid subtly accumulating over time, leading to more frequent and intense discomfort with each passing week. Now let's talk about the sugar. Even though green apples taste less sweet, they still contain a significant amount of natural sugar. For older adults with slower metabolisms and reduced insulin sensitivity, this can lead to blood sugar fluctuations that affect circulation and trigger inflammation. You may notice tired calves, nighttime leg cramps, or morning stiffness, especially after eating apples the night before. The problem? Green apples are often eaten raw, between meals, or even before bed, times when your body may be less equipped to process the sugar and acid efficiently. Over time, these small repeated exposures create a constant low-level burden on the joints, muscles, and circulatory system. So while green apples look and feel like a pure healthful choice, they may be silently contributing to mobility issues, restless legs, and joint tension in aging bodies. And if a fruit this seemingly simple can cause those effects, what happens when we introduce something even sweeter, richer, and more tropical? Let's move on to a fruit beloved around the world, the mango. Sweet, juicy, and often considered a treat, but is it also a hidden sugar bomb that's slowly affecting your legs? Let's find out. The seventh fruit, mango, a sugar bomb for aging joints. Mangoes, juicy, soft, delicious, like nature's candy. Loved by many, especially in the warmer months, this tropical fruit feels like a refreshing treat. But for aging adults, especially those over 60, mangoes may be one of the most problematic fruits when it comes to joint pain and leg weakness. Why? Because mangoes are incredibly high in natural sugar, and not just a little. One serving delivers a concentrated sugar load that causes your blood glucose to spike sharply and quickly. If you're young, active, and metabolically healthy, your body can usually process that spike. But once you're past 60, everything changes. Your metabolism slows, insulin sensitivity decreases, and your body struggles to regulate these sudden changes in blood sugar. And here's what happens next. That sugar surge triggers inflammation, particularly in soft tissues around your joints, your ankles, knees, and hips. If you've ever felt burning in your toes, tingling sensations that linger, or swelling in your feet by evening, that's not just coincidence. It could be the aftermath of what felt like an innocent mango snack. Mango is deceptive. It tastes light, feels fresh, and goes down easily. But that's exactly what makes it so easy to overeat. One slice becomes two, then three, and your body pays the price with inflammation, joint sensitivity, and a creeping sense of fatigue in your legs. The worst part, the symptoms don't come right away. The damage builds slowly, until you notice you're walking slower, your legs feel heavier, or stairs feel steeper than they used to. Yes, mangoes are natural, but natural doesn't always mean safe, especially for aging joints, slowed circulation, or nerve-related pain. The good news, fruits that heal, not harm. Now that you know which fruits may be contributing to joint pain, fatigue, and inflammation, let's talk about the ones that do the opposite. The fruits that support strong legs, better circulation, and reduced inflammation. Let's start with berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These small, colorful fruits are packed with antioxidants, low in sugar, and extremely gentle on blood sugar levels. Best of all, they support healthy blood flow, reduce swelling, and help your legs feel lighter and more mobile. Next, cherries. In moderation, cherries can actually lower uric acid levels, helping to prevent gout flare-ups and joint inflammation. A small handful, not a bowl, can offer relief from burning knees, sore toes, or tight hips. And then there's the avocado. Yes, it's a fruit, and one of the best for aging joints. Avocados are rich in healthy fats, which reduce inflammation, cushion joints, and help regulate blood sugar. They're nutrient-dense and promote long-lasting energy, without the crash. If you need something easy on the stomach, reach for papaya. This soft, tropical fruit contains digestive enzymes that ease inflammation and support gut health. It's mild, soothing, and gentle on aging joints. Don't forget about pears, either. When eaten with a small amount of fiber or protein, pears offer gentle sweetness without spiking your blood sugar. They're an ideal choice for a light snack that energizes without inflaming. Each of these fruits supports your body instead of working against it. They don't inflame. They don't weigh you down. They help restore the strength, balance, and ease of movement that aging bodies deserve. Closing thoughts, the power of simple changes. If you've made it this far, it tells me something important. You care about your future, your strength, and your health. And I want to leave you with this reminder. It's not too late to change. No matter your age or how long you've lived with discomfort, your body still has the ability to adapt and heal. You don't need extreme measures, just smarter, intentional choices, starting with what's on your plate. The fruits we discussed today aren't bad, but they might no longer be right for you right now. And that's okay. Getting older doesn't mean giving up. It means getting wiser. Choose fruits that nourish your joints, support your circulation, and help you move with ease. You'll notice it in your steps, your mornings, your sense of independence. This message isn't about fear. It's about freedom, and giving your body the support it needs to stay strong. Now I'd love to hear from you. What did you learn today? What change are you ready to make? Share in the comments below, because when we share, we grow together. Stay strong, stay aware, and never forget your legs carry your independence. Let's protect them together.